Hi everyone, welcome to Cobalt Academia's Hacking How to video series. I'm Busra, aka RU1R0, an offensive security researcher and a pentest architect at Cobalt.io. With Hacking How to video series, we see how to exploit vulnerabilities that we encounter every day during pentests. In this specific video, we will see how to exploit command injection by using different scenarios. If you're ready, let's jump in. In this video, we will see how to exploit command injection vulnerability on a hack-the-box machine called Chronos. I already done some basic enumeration and I realized that the port 53 is open. When I done zone transfer, I realized that there is a subdomain admin.chronos.hdb is available. So what I've done is I've added this to my etc hosts file as the followings. So when I go to admin.chronos.hackthebox, I realize that there is an SQL injection vulnerability when you write admin name like the following, which is like the first thing that I do when I see a login page. I'm checking for an SQL injection vulnerability and there is no protection here. When I submit this, it gives me the admin page, which allows me to trace route or ping with this little input box. What I've done is I intercepted the request with burp. Let's execute this and go to burp to see what's going on. I'm sending this to repeater. And of course, since there's a comment parameter, I will try to execute other comments, which can be done with the following symbols, following special characters. Generally, one of them should work. So what I will do is, first of all, I will inject this and we'll see if there is an error. There is no error. When I say, who am I? It's not giving me any results. When I add this at the end of it for host, since this is a full comment, trace route and IP address, it's giving me the result. So what I will do is I will remove this parameter to see if it still works. It still works. So I will also remove trace route comment now to see if it actually works in this way. And it still works. So this is perfect. We played around a bit to see if this parameter allows me to solely execute OS commands in here, which allows. So what I will do is I will write a one-liner for reverse shell. So I will be listening on port 888. Alright, I wrote my command in here with my own IP address and the port that I'm listening. I am URL encoding this. When I send this, I see that the shell is coming. It's a pretty easy box. I'm not going to do privilege escalation. This is not solving the box, but I just wanted to show you what to do, how to act when you see a parameter which allows you to execute other commands. You need to play around to see if you can actually execute the commands. In this video, we will see how to exploit command injection vulnerability on a hack-the-box machine called Jarvis. So I already done some basic enumeration and I realized that there is an SQL injection vulnerability which will allow us to give a reverse shell, and from there we will see how to execute command injection vulnerability. So if you're ready, let's jump in. I already done the enumeration like I said, and I wrote my command in here, which will save this content in an output file called pound.php. So as you can see, we can do code execution here. I will clarify it again. This box is about command injection, and what we are doing here is code injection. So we didn't jump into the command injection part yet. Let's clarify this in the beginning. This is code injection. Let's see the command injection here. Go back here. And as you can see, I send it to repeater. I will be listening on port 1234. This is the comment that I will write, and we'll be listening on port 1234. Oops, burps here. I'm sending this. Okay, I should have listened earlier. And we got the shell as data. When I check with sudo -l to see if there is anything that I can run, and I can run this as a pepper, as this Python script. So what I will do is I will go this directory first, then I will be doing the following sudo. Alright, when we run this file as pepper, it's given me some options. So what I want to do is I want to use the ping option. But before we jump into this, I want to show you the source code of this file. So there is a function that allows me to show statistics. There is one which is listing IP addresses. Nothing is executed in here. There is something that allows me to convert some stuff, get maximum. Okay, this is the function that I'm interested, which allows me to execute ping command. If you see it in here, there are some special characters that are forbidden. As you can see here, for instance, pipe, for instance, these stuff, backtick and stuff. But as you can realize, there's no double quote, single quote, and dollar signs are blocked in here, so I can actually use them. All right, I will be using it. And of course, I will use the following comment. Since dollar sign parentheses are allowed, I will say, who am I? Since I am impersonating as Pepper right now by using sudo, it should give me, if this comment works, it should give me somehow Pepper in the output as the output for who am I. Let's wait a couple of minutes. And as you can see, it gives us the output Pepper in here. So from there, what I wanted to do is I want to create a bash script file on temp directory to get a reverse shell as Pepper. The test file is the following. I will be listening on port 555. This is my IP address. I'm writing a really basic bash script here and will saving it as test.sh. I'm doing this. There is no error message. I will be changing mode so that I can execute it. Test.sh. All right, then I will be listening on port 555. From there, what we will do is we will execute this again. Run the file again. Sorry guys. And then we will be running the following temp test.sh. When we do this, we get the shell as Pepper. So I think it was a really cool scenario. What we've done is we found a Python file. We had the opportunity to read the file and we realized that there are some blockings on some of the special characters for us to not execute other comments. But we wanted to get reverse shell, so we needed to bypass these restrictions, which we actually did by using dollar signs. We realized that it's not blocked, and we created a basic sh shell, bash shell, changed the permissions to make it executable, and run the file to get a reverse shell. Pretty basics, but I wanted to include the scenario because this is also a scenario for command injection. It doesn't have to be all the time. You intercepting the request with burp, looking parameter and looking for some injection values. This can also happen. Just keep it in mind, guys. In this video, we will see how to exploit command injection vulnerability on a hacked box machine called Shocker. So this video is specific to shell shock exploit, which is also a command injection vulnerability. And if you're ready, let's jump in. I already done some basic enumeration and I realized that the port 80 is open, and when I did some directory brute forcing, I realized that this directory CGI bin is enabled. I also looked for a couple of specific extension for files such as sh, py, pl, and all these executable and all these script file formats extensions. And when I did directory brute forcing, I realized that user.sh file is available. When I see this sh file, it immediately came to my mind as I should probably use shell shock exploit here. You can also check out the file content here by opening it up with them. As you can see, it's just an uptime test script. So from there, I intercepted the request. I went to burp, and I will be sending this to repeater. So there are a couple of different scenarios you can do here. You can either use curl and send your exploit shell shock script with one-liner, or you can be using burp suite to inject comments here. So what I will do is I will be using user agent header. So when I write the following super basic shell shock script and ask the comment for who am I, it's given me the output as Shelly. You can rather read ET's past video file or I don't know, anything that you want to do for your enumeration steps. But I don't want to wait, it's the damn time for the reverse shell, so let's get it. As you can see, it's a super basic shell shock script with a reverse shell one-liner. When I do this, am I listening on the part? I am listening. Let me make it smaller. When I send this, it's giving me the shell immediately. What you can do in this step is when you see the shell shock vulnerability, or more basically when you see CGI bin directory, you should look for these extensions with dirbuster, gobuster, dirb, whatever tool you're using. When you see this file, you should probably looking for shell shock exploit. Even with mmap, when you're running for port scan, if you're using safe script options, which is this -SC, it would probably give you this vulnerability, or you can look for Nikto. I mean, this is not a complex vulnerability and it would be easy to grab it and exploit it easily. If you don't want to do it like what I did, like manually in this way, you can also use any script from GitHub, hopefully a safe script, which would do the same thing, or you can use Metasploit module, which also works pretty easily. In this video, we will see how to exploit OS command injection by using Portswigger Labs. There are 5 scenarios you can see here, and to be honest, they're pretty basics, they're pretty easy. But before jumping into more CTF style exercises, I wanted to show you what's the most basic ones, to see the overall picture. Also, just as a clarification, this is not code injection, which I will include in a different video as a different topic. This is purely command injection, which allows you to inject OS commands into parameters. So if you're ready, let's jump in under the first one. So this is a pretty basic scenarios. If you access the lab, what we will do is, first I need to intercept burp on. Okay, I will go to view details and we'll say check stoke. When I do this, I intercepted the request already. I'm sending this to repeater. So as you can see, there are 2 IDs, 2 parameter and 2 values in here. So since you don't see the source code, what you can do is you can inject some values in here. I don't know if there can be XSS vulnerability, there can be SQL injection, there can be command injection, code injection, there can be even exec, there can be anything. So what you are supposed to do here is that when you see the parameter and value, you're supposed to inject special characters like single quote. It gives a different error message, double quote, then pipe, and all these values, all these special characters that you can inject. When I don't inject this, it's given me 62. When I inject this, it's still giving me 62. That means maybe I can include more characters next to this. And as you can see, it's giving me SH, and then it's giving me the value that I wrote. Let's make it 12 here, and it's giving me the value. So I am thinking that maybe I can try to inject comments here, which can be ls, for instance, and it's given me the output of ls here. What else are we supposed to add here? We can also use pipe and then ls, giving me the same results. Pretty basic. I know that this is not like the complex scenario or something. We're just trying to understand how to use this vulnerability. We're not like injecting really complex attack methods here. All right, let's jump into the second one. So in the first one, we saw that what are we supposed to do? How to detect this, inject some special characters and stuff. In the second one, we are seeing that we can also use time delays. So I will do submit feedback. The vulnerability appears in here. Of course, I'm not going over the enumeration steps as we don't have enough time for this. It submitted the feedback. I'm going back to burp, intercepting the request, sending this to repeater. And the vulnerability appears in email. Like I said, I'm not doing the enumeration. You're supposed to look over them one by one. But what I'm going to do here is that, again, I'm going to inject this character. It says could not save. I will inject pipe, double pipe, still says double, could not save. When I do this, still not responding me. Voila. So when I add double pipe and the comment, it's not giving me an error message anymore. Let's change the comment. It's not giving me any value. So maybe in this exercise, we're not supposed to get the output. But what we're supposed to do is that I will write some time comment here to see if it's possible to actually get anything from there. So what I will use is the ping comment with -c option, which will allow me to specify the time delay here, let's say 3, and then I will be pinging the localhost. So of course I'm doing URL encode here and with plus instead of spaces. When I do this, if it works, it should give me the output after 3 seconds. Okay, so if I make it 10, let's say, it will wait until 10 seconds. So in this way, we are verifying that yes, there's a command injection in here. Like I mentioned before, this is not like a super complex exercise or something. We're just seeing the scenarios here. In the first scenario, we saw that we can inject some special characters. In the second one, we're seeing that yes, we can also verify that it's vulnerable by using the time delays. All right, let's see the third scenario. So what we can do if we can get the output in here, we can also try to get the output by storing it in an output file. So again, I'm submitting feedback. These guys are funny. Alright, I'm submitting feedback, going back to burp, intercepting the request, sending it to the repeater. Again, the vulnerability appears in the email. So what I will do is, pipe of course, we will write our value in here. And what I want to do is the following. I will say, for instance, who am I? And we'll send this to var dub, which is the default directory. And from there, I need to find another folder, another directory. Okay, when I go to this images directory and save it as video.txt file, I can now go back to the images folder and try to get this file name with the file name parameter is in here. It is in here. When I do this, you can see that who am I output is given in here. Another scenario that you can see, if you can get the output, you will try to find the default root directory which was var dub, and you realize that there is this images where they are stored, and from there you will store your output in a file. We're going with this one, blind OS command injection with out of band interaction, which means we will be using collaborator or your external server, let's say. Accessing the lab. What we will do is we will just interact with our own server, which is collaborator. Of course, I will be doing submit feedback. We'll do the same thing again. Okay, submit feedback, going back to burp. Sending this to repeater and fire.up collaborator. I will be copying this. The same thing applies here again. What I will do is I will say ping instead of space. Let's write this, and we'll do the following. And when we try it, we are getting the DNS request in here. Pretty easy, but in order to verify that there is a command injection in here, because we don't know the source code, you can always try this. Okay, just another scenario. The next one, blind OS command injection with out-of-band exfiltration. Okay, instead of just getting DNS requests, we will also get output of a comment here. Okay, let me show you how to do this. I will do submit feedback again. Write some values here. Submit feedback, go back to burp. We go there, sending this. And again, what I will write is pretty similar. Okay, let's see. What I can do is, for instance, ns lookup, I can say space. I will be using backticks, and from there I will be writing. Okay, let me see. Which comment is it looking for? Does it say anything? Yeah, who am I comment? Yeah. Okay, and from there I will write my burp collaborator address here after the dot, like subdomain, you know. I will be sending this. Yes, I forgot to close the pipes. I'm the queen of typos. I don't know why am I doing this. As you can see here, before we start with the Y character, which stands for our address for burp collaborator, it's given us the value in here. We can go there, row, and copy this, and go back here and submit solution. Perfect. So this was all the exercises that we have on Portswigger Lab. I know they're pretty basic, they're not complex, but these are just showing you the scenarios for command injection while you're dealing with injection tests on some parameters. From there, we will jump on to some CDF scenarios, more complex scenarios. So see you in the next video. Cheers. Thank you for watching my videos. Stay tuned for more content. Cheers.